Hi, this is Matt with Custom Car Grills. I'm going to showcase a new mesh piece we have available for the 2005 through 11 Toyota Tacoma. Cutting out the stock plastic pieces will be the first step in this installation on both the center and sides. Getting a consistent cutting depth is very important for this modification. The mesh piece we've made is a perfect fit when mounted at a half-inch depth. In order to get that consistent half-inch depth, I'm using a roll of 3/4 inch wide red electrical tape. The extra 1/4 inch difference between the tape and mounting depth is needed for the horizontal bend in the plastic before it meets the chrome shell. Before the center area is cut out, there are a few connectors that need to be cut ahead of time. An open-ended hacksaw will make short work of this plastic, and cutting further out from the center will give us a cleaner cut. Next, I'm going to use a Dremel with a cutoff wheel to follow the bottom of the tape line that was previously applied. Close attention to detail and a steady hand is very important during this step. I found that the toughest areas were in the lower corners and the top area above the emblem, and where the horizontal bars meet up with the sides. The tape line should be barely touching or ever so slightly above the horizontal bars. This is key for that consistent half-inch mounting depth. Once the center area has been cut, the inner plastic portion should drop right out, right where the line was drawn. There's some extra burnt bits of plastic that need to be picked off before moving forward, and the tape outline can be removed as we won't need it again. Here's a quick glance at my work thus far. I've got a good consistent cut that was quick and easy to make. Some of the cut line will need a little fine tuning, and we'll get to work on that in just a second. I like using a sandpaper that's about 200 grit to smooth the back of the cut line. The better the initial cut was, the less sanding that is required during this step. To do the side pieces, I chose not to make a cut assist line as I didn't feel it was needed. I just kept a good consistent depth, and the side area plastic was an easy job. Just like with the centerpiece, a little cleanup and sanding may be needed thereafter. Here's a shot of how it should look after cutting and sanding. And now here's a look at our mesh piece with the pre-bent mounting tabs. This is designed specifically for the half-inch mounting install, but it's also fully compatible with a deep dish style installation as well. There's a little extra mesh when doing the deeper installation with this mesh piece, but it can be trimmed or bent as needed. Back to the shallow install, I'm just going to drop the mesh in place, and it looks like it's a perfect fit. In order to get a good flush contact between the mesh and the stock grill, I'm going to use some cable ties and soft foam to hold the mesh tightly in place. This is a key step because it will determine the final mounting position of the mesh before it's adhered on. I'm cutting the tie ends off to get them out of the way. A subtle curve on the mesh is needed for this shallow mount, and key points to watch out for are on the sides. While this mesh can be installed with automotive goop, I'm using a different product called Plyo Grip for this video. Many viewers have asked for an adhesive that cures faster and sets up harder, and this product will do just that. Plyo Grip is a wonderful product that we've used many times before, but for many applications I find that it's cost prohibitive. Again, the automotive goop, which is shown in many of our other videos, will work for this as well. This is a two-part adhesive that gets forced through a mix tube and dispensed in the perfect proportion. I'm applying the Plyo Grip along the edge and near the top of the mesh. It's important not to apply too much, as so that it would come through the front. After it's quickly cured, I'm cutting the ties off and removing the foam. Now here's a peek at how the main center section looks after we've cut the factory parts and installed the mesh. Next, it's time for the side triangle mesh installation. Using the same technique that was used for the center section, these side pieces are tied flush against the back of the opening using cable ties and soft foam. The margin for error is a little smaller on the side pieces, but again, I'm just taking my time and making sure to lay the adhesive down accurately. Once the adhesive is set up, it's time to cut the ties off and remove the foam. This now completes the mesh installation, and look at how far we've come. What a huge difference this makes in a relatively short amount of time with just a couple tools. The shallow mount is a much quicker install with much less work compared to the deep install. With the mesh in place, I want to take this to the next level and add an OEM Toyota emblem. Getting this centered vertically is the first important step. Then I need to mark a reference point to keep that emblem centered. I like using masking tape for this step. It's quick and easy to use, works great. Then I need to horizontally center the emblem using a ruler. To finish off the prep, I'm going to use a couple more pieces of tape on the end so that it doesn't slide. Now it's time to get out our automotive goop and start applying the adhesive to the back of the emblem. I'm using a toothpick to apply the goop because it allows me the precision I need to get the adhesive close to the edge, but not too far that it's going to come through the front. The same plyo grip adhesive that was used on the mesh could be used here as well, but I ran out before I could do the emblem. Once the goop is on the emblem, it's a time-sensitive matter to flip the emblem back over and get it applied to the mesh. I also like using some small items to weigh the emblem down for good contact and then remove the tape. Once the goop is cured, the items can be removed and we're now left with our fully customized grille. This looks way better than what we started with and has a great blend of custom and factory components. Again, this type of installation is a much more time-efficient approach than other methods, and overall, I feel this mod was well worth the time and money. Like usual, I hope you liked this video. If you have any questions about it, or any other of our videos, feel free to contact us.